There's the race leader, Jenson Button, working lap 13.
Boy, Kimi Räikkönen not losing any time to Michael Schumacher on this second. Oh, the wing just came off. Oh,
This is big.
wow.
The wing just disintegrated at the back of Kimi Räikkönen's McLaren. A case of pushing the structural envelope just a little too far.
Well, it's at the most loaded part of the track, really. The aerodynamic load would have been at its maximum there. Well, quite right, Kimi.
Boy,
That's
he'd
nothing to do
be
with
mad
you.
at that.
No, he's been pushed too far.
He has justification for that. That's the team's responsibility. Yeah, quite.
Well, he's supposed to put the wheel back on the car, but he is hot.
Yeah, and he will be fined for that. It's absolutely an FIA requirement that the driver does that. And that's Kimi Räikkönen's personality right there. Very fiery under that condition. But here, let's have another look at it. Wow, just ripped clean off.
Last time we saw that was Hungary last year when Ralph Furman lost it off the back of the Jordan.
And we did see it on a McLaren in Spain 2 or 3 years back.
This is an unusual wing failure as well, because it's not the mounting pylons that are attached to the gearbox, it's the main element coming off the end plates. You can see the end plates.
Never seen
the
that
two
before.
vertical panels are still firmly attached to the mounting plate.
Louise is with Kimi Räikkönen.
Kimi, you were obviously unhurt in that accident, but you did look very angry.
Huh?
You were obviously unhurt in that accident, which was good news, but you did look rather angry.
Why should I? I'm disappointed because I could have challenged Michael big time, but it's nothing to do. I'm just trying to go now on the check and then I can go, so.
If you were David Coulthard right now in an identical car, would you be worried at the moment?
I don't know. Ask for me.
Thanks, Kimi.
That is one angry Finn.
Yeah, understandably set the fastest lap of the race, a new lap record. He was very much keeping Michael on his toes, and nothing he could do about that. Sad, and he's going to have a medical check, obviously, and he will leg it out of the circuit as quickly as he possibly can.
Back live in Monte Carlo on lap 51, and the man who was in second place, Kimi Räikkönen, is pulling off the racetrack. We've just seen Mark Webber, who was in third, pull off the racetrack with smoke pouring out of the airbox, indicating the engine had failed. Right, we're under a safety car here, so while they clear Mark Webber's car out of the way, and Räikkönen's car too is on fire. So we've lost the second and third place man in this race. And well, Räikkönen's chances of winning it were spoiled when the safety car was deployed, because he had a few more laps of fuel in the car than Alonso, so he would have been able to go a bit further in this Grand Prix. The safety car kiboshed that because both of them had to come in immediately and make a pit stop under the safety car. It was the only thing to do in order not to lose time and track position. And now Räikkönen is out of this Grand Prix when he was looking set for certainly a chance to win it at one point.
Disaster. What's happening there is obviously the car was running pretty close to its maximum temperatures in racing conditions. Slow down, stop the air going through the side pods and the radiators. There are no fans on these cars. They need the cooling air of running at reasonable speed. They hate cruising around, and that's just tripped it over the top. I suspect, anyway, that's what's happened to Räikkönen. It's the slow running that's actually broken the engine. It's overheated.
Well, he's had his fair share of mechanical failures, Kimi Räikkönen, at the wheel of a McLaren Mercedes. Some of them have cost him, by the team's own admission, chance of winning the World Championship. He'd already pretty much given up on challenging for this year's World Championship, but his chances of winning Monaco were pretty strong, and it looks like yet another mechanical failure and a long walk back through the tunnel. That's a good 20 to 25 minutes to the paddock from there. Plenty of time to have some thoughts about what you do about this situation. Ted Kravitz.
Yeah, and his race had already been ruined, hadn't it, James? Because he was going to go longer in that middle stint, and the safety car just wiped out the advantage that Kimi Räikkönen and McLaren had. Here, the circuit that they so wanted to win. But you're absolutely right about the cooling, Martin. McLaren had actually put massive chimneys on the side of their radiators, as had Williams, as had most of the other teams. Things that you usually see in Malaysia and Bahrain, but they put them on here because all of the cooling was just so tight.
Yeah, you need the power of the engine coming out of the end of the crankshaft into the gearbox. Not that race. Did they fuel it? And there's a forlorn Kimi Räikkönen still trying to find his way back.
It's a very lonely Kimi Räikkönen who makes his way back to through the tunnel. He's walking slowly. He's not in any great hurry to get back and face the team. Definitely a chance of a win here this afternoon. There is Kimi Räikkönen. He's not even gone back to the paddock. He's got his shirt off. He's on his boat, which has a splendid name, One More Toy. He's with some of his best mates from Finland who've consumed their own weight in champagne and beer while he's been off the pot all weekend. And I bet he fancies a drink now after the huge disappointment.
Hamilton was in first and wanted to be first to get away. He was keen to get back out. But he'd already lost his lead. And then he just lost it completely. And Rosberg too. Incredible. Actions spoke far louder than words. Everyone else had to think on their feet.
Okay, Giancarlo, stay out for the moment. Stay out, mate. We're not going to box. We're going to stay out to take track position. There's been a shunt in the pit lane, so it's pretty busy here now, but we're not going to box. We're going to stay out, mate, and take track position, okay?
Kimi had little to say on the matter. And calmly pointed out the error of Hamilton's ways. Hamilton and Rosberg failed to spot the red light and the stationary cars. Meanwhile, Kubica rejoined the race when the light went green. When push came to shove, there was little to be said.
I mean, it was one of those things, I guess. And I mean, I'm not. It's a lot different to if you crash into the wall and you're angry at yourself. I'm not. It's not like that, you know. I apologise to Kimi if you know, if I've ruined his race. But no, this sort of thing happens. So.
We have seen one of the strongest runs from Kimi Räikkönen here since his F1 to rallying switch. He begins the second morning in a comfortable 7th place. Oh, but he slid wide as well. Let's look at that again from outside the car. A really low-speed corner. He just slides slightly offline.
Push the rear down! Down! The rear down!
An innocuous-looking incident, but unbelievably, he's beached at the edge of the road. Kimi absolutely furious. Nearby spectators do eventually come to their aid. It's proving a real challenge hauling the car back on the road, though. And devastatingly, it's over half an hour before Kimi gets back on his way. After another promising start, it's more frustration for the former F1 champ.
Almost a walking speed, and just the car just went a little bit straight, and we were like half car on the road, and there was a mud bank, and it unfortunately got stuck completely on the bottom, and we couldn't get forward or backwards. And then finally we found a rope from the people, so once we connected on the rear, and they could pull us backwards, and then it just came out, but it was just a stupid place to get stuck.
Onko se kunnossa? Vittu sä siellä tökkäs siellä reunalla? Mä otan virrat pois.
Perez was after 5th, but his tried and tested move didn't work this time. He expected Räikkönen to give him space, but Kimi saw things differently.
I want to hit him when I say for sure. He hits me now on the wrist. I have a puncture.
Okay, Kimi, box this lap.
He got lucky. He didn't have to go too far with the damage. The team soon replaced his tyres, but he dropped right down the order. Perez had clearly not escaped without damage either. There was quite a queue behind him. He couldn't make pit entry, so pulled off the track.
That was a real shame. That was really good effort up through that point, Checo.
And it's lights out and away we go, pretty even start out in front, but Kimi Räikkönen gets ahead of Max Verstappen, as does Sebastian Vettel. Verstappen goes down the inside on Räikkönen, and it's a chain reaction. Sebastian Vettel stranded in the middle of the track, and he has gone from third down to about plumb last as the rest of the field file past La Source and down on towards Eau Rouge. Rosberg well out in front, going way over the corner. There was Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Absolute disaster for him at the start, and Räikkönen's got problems.
I think Räikkönen's got a puncture from the contact. You see the car scratching badly. His right front's coming adrift. So the two Ferraris contact. Verstappen's lost a little bit of his front wing. We've got a Haas there on the outside of the corner. He will get away with that one. Look, what a wonderful start for Williams too.
I don't know, I have something damaged.
Verstappen's added about a mile to this lap, a 4.35 mile lap, and he's going all over the track and more as well. Perez is right down there. A poor start from Sergio Perez. He's down in 10th at the moment. Verstappen does pit as Rosberg leads at the end of lap 1 from Daniel Ricciardo. Bit of tape sticking up there, I think, on the camera above the engine box. And there goes Sergio Perez down the inside, and Carlos Sainz into La Source he goes, and Sergio Perez now up into 7th place as a result of that move. And this now for Max Verstappen pitting. Also coming into the pits, Felipe Nasser, Sebastian Vettel and Jenson Button, and Lewis Hamilton now up into 15th place as Verstappen makes his way out of the pits. On the Ferrari, flames you can see from the underside of Kimi Räikkönen's Ferrari, Sebastian Vettel's Ferrari I should say.
Should be okay, a fire there, it should be okay to resume.
It is Kimi Räikkönen's Ferrari. I couldn't see the helmet, the number 7 of course. And that's massive problems there for Kimi Räikkönen. And
didn't quite have enough revs on, that's why both Ferraris were quicker than him. And then he decides to take that back, and
they just turned into me.
They did,
but
they were
should
always
you have been there in the first place?
I think there was a big enough gap. It was a car and a half as width, and basically Seb's come down and pinched them a bit. Kimi is the cork in the bottle, and Verstappen is pushing his luck.
Okay, Kimi, so we are going to get blues for these guys behind unless we can pull away from them. There'll be obviously some guys we can't pull away from, so we will get some blues, but we're just going to have to do the best job we can.
Here we are on board with Kimi Räikkönen, gaining all the time. Verstappen moves over, and then they touch as Verstappen a bit later on the brakes. Yes, he is, and he pushes Kimi Räikkönen wide and through the chicane. Räikkönen stays ahead, but I wonder if he might have to give the place back.
Well, let's see. If he came out in front, he'll have to give the place back.
But was he in front enough so that Verstappen should have let him through?
Yeah.
Do I have to let the Red Bull pass because he's clear? It's just his only interest is pushing me off the circuit completely. If I wouldn't go straight, he's just hitting me aside.
He's got a bit strong there, hasn't he?
Yeah, and they better get used to that. That's how Max Verstappen's going to go about his Formula One business. So we're going to see lots of this, aren't we? It so reminds me of Michael Schumacher and Ayrton Senna when they showed up and wanted to establish their modus operandi, how they were going to go about it, and you better be ready for them to come through.
He's let him through, as you can see. Here we go again. This is part 2, Martin. Verstappen's ahead of Räikkönen. Now what's going to happen this time, I wonder, because it seems that the Ferrari's got the straight line speed. He's also got DRS as well. Which way is he going to go? Oh, and Verstappen kind of invited Räikkönen to go down the inside and then cut him off. Now, what we also see with Verstappen is that he does move late. He kind of waits for the driver to make up his mind behind and then moves over. Now, was that fair?
He does it. I said this after Hungary. You can't wait until the other driver commits and then move. You've got to defend the racetrack and make them go the long way round. You can't. So you could hear Räikkönen had to get out the throttle pedal urgently to avoid what would have been an airplane crash.
Was it far enough away from the apex to not technically be in the braking zone, or it wasn't really in the braking zone?
The point I also made back then.
Hey, come on, this is ridiculous now. He's just fucking turning when I'm going full speed on the right.
Copy, ridiculous.
Yeah, apologies for the language. The bleep machine didn't get it all. Personally, I can understand Räikkönen's frustration on that one, Martin.
You can't do that. It's too dangerous. 200 miles an hour, 320, well, will they do 338
kilometres an hour at the top of the hill there.
You're about 210 miles an hour.
There's a code of conduct in the end, and you cannot just keep moving late when the driver behind's committed and heading down one side.
This is going to be a fascinating start here in Singapore. The 10th ever running of the Singapore Grand Prix, the first ever to be held in the rain. Lights out, away we go, and they try not to get too much wheel spin, and it's a good start from Räikkönen, if anything. Räikkönen, and he hits Vettel as well. Did Vettel get away with it? Räikkönen, and look at, is that Hamilton straight up in there? We've got more drama on these shambles down at turn 1 with cars off in all directions.
Well, that was that was Vettel who squeezed Max Verstappen into Räikkönen, and we'll at the very least have a safety car. And there's Vettel's spun.
I think Hamilton might be right up there at the moment. They've got a safety car. Look, he's still going backwards.
His front wing's off. He's knocked his nose off the car.
And Vettel could be out of this race entirely unless he can rejoin and get a... Oh, look at the damage on the side. There's no way he's going to be able to continue this race. What a drama.
Reasonable starts. Look at Seb, look at Seb, look at Seb. Oh, it's just, you know, you could argue a racing incident.
Got damage. Yeah.
Big hit in the end.
Did they do? No idea. Are you okay, mate? Yeah, I'm okay, but it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it's such a shame that we've lost so many already. Let's see how it was from Räikkönen's point of view. Beautiful start.
Yeah, brilliant start from Räikkönen. Does exactly what he should do. He's on a consistent line. I got to say, Seb closed that down and was the catalyst for the accident. Kimi was doing nothing other than being mega off the line. Max was trying to keep out of an ever-decreasing gap. And Fernando Alonso's going to get sucked into this as well. So great down the outside and he's full wedge. He's thinking, thank you. And then he's thinking, oh, no thank you.
Yeah, that was a great shame. Lee is talking to Sebastian Vettel.
Well, Sebastian, desperate luck, if luck came into it. Tell us what happened at the start.
Well, I don't know. I had an average start and then moved slightly to the left, trying to fend off Max, and then the next thing I get a bump on the side. I see Kimi's car as well, so not sure what happened.
It looked like you got out of that bit relatively unscathed, but a lot of fluid coming from the car.
Stop, actually. Then I spun after turn 3, but I think there was damage on the car already, and then it didn't matter, to be honest, because the car was damaged. The cooler was broken, massively bent, so we lost water pressure and had to stop anyways.
Lewis Hamilton leading the race. It's going to be a difficult day for the championship, possibly.
We'll see. It's a long race, but for sure, you know, we're on the wrong side of the track, so that doesn't help, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Obviously, we've got races to go. Nothing we can do now. For sure, it's bitter, but as I said,
Max Verstappen, he has a 5-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. It's that gaining an advantage that is the crucial part of this one. Verstappen gets 5 seconds added. He hands the place back to Kimi Räikkönen. Räikkönen does finish on the podium for the first time since Hungary.
Räikkönen really coasted out of the last corner.
He did.
And they're about to throw him out of that room.
Remember Mexico last year? We had 3 drivers finishing third that day.
I'm afraid the smile's about to go off his face.
But no, it's amazing feeling.
Very
when
inside.
you're able to win a race, and there's nothing like it. So, and the nerves really take over. So you're not too worried about that at the time. But when you go back to the paddock and there might be something wrong, you're really nervous about it. Especially in the...
There we go.
Kimi's on his way. And Max is deep in conversation, telling Seb just how good that move was.
He's about to become a cuckoo, isn't he? Sling the youngster.
Yeah, I mean, after lap 1 I was 12th, I think, or 12th. And then just within 7 laps I was 6th. and then I was just slowly catching up to the pack. And
Still up there at the moment. We know something you don't know, sadly, Max. Interesting. So, see what happens.
It's almost cruel waiting for the moment.
I'm not enjoying this.
No. He's got driver of the day. He can keep that one.
Driver of the day. No surprise, Kyle. Max Verstappen, regardless of what the stewards might say, still the driver.
Kimi's arrived.
Cannot take any credit away from him for that.
And Kimi is up with this, and therefore it is official. Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah, I tried, but you made it as well.
Nice. Oh,
yeah, but for the straight.
That was clever from Ferrari, wasn't it? Vettel wasn't struggling, he was just trying to drop back to give his mate some DRS to fight against this.
Oh, Kimi, first of all, congratulations. At the end, it was a really dramatic race, but are you happy with the points?
yeah, obviously I was pretty disappointed just after the race when I thought I finished fourth, but there was some issue with Max. So obviously, yeah, it was a great race. My car was very good all the way. I just had to fuel save a bit in the end, so I had to pack up. But apart from that, yeah, the car was working very good.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Lost the whole front right corner.
Okay, you have to stop the car in the safe place.
Hello everybody, I am proud to announce that I have established an official store on Teespring. There, you can find a wide variety of official merchandise related to the Ryan Holman Network, all of which was personally designed by me, Ryan Holman. To find the official Ryan Holman store, please go to teespring.com/stores/the-official-Ryan-Holman-store. Thank you.